Hello, Liz, Julia.
Hello.
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 Good evening.
Good evening, Dawn. How are you?
Good.
Okay. We have Ben.
I just sent an email.
I just saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're. So you're not getting, you didn't get the,
I got the abstract and the the executive summary. But the meeting minutes and the agenda, I didn't get.
Those were put out on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're in a different email?
Yeah,
Okay,
1:16 PM. Thursday, 11:18. And then Terry sent out a new abstract, right?
Yes,
Yeah. To replace the one you'd sent originally.
correct.
So Julia, I have made you co-host.
Yep, I see that. It looks like it worked.
Yep, it worked.
I did want to try to mute all participants before the Pledge of Allegiance, because last time we weren't able to do that. But before you start with the Pledge of Allegiance, after I mute all, just make sure you're not muted. Usually that's what was done before, so I wanted to try that out, so we're not all kind of
Okay.
overlapping each
Yeah.
other.
I did not receive that email on Thursday.
You got yours, right, Liz?
Yeah, I got mine. It says
Christine.
Trustee Raymond on it.
The email is not in my inbox.
Huh.
Hmm.
I'll forward you this one. So you have it.
Okay.
Let's see. Just sent it. John.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ben. Okay, we should be joined by Paul Von Schank from Amshore, who's going to be talking about our health insurance, our rate renewal, which I sent you information on. I haven't gotten an email or text from him. You know, he's a few minutes into the program. I know he got the panelists email last week because I checked with him that he got it, so he may be joining us a little after the fact. But we will start. You know, if he's with us, great. If he's not.
Looks like he's here.
Yep, somebody's
Oh,
here.
there he is. Hello, Paul.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, Christine.
Paul.
Hello.
Hi, Terry. Hi, Julia. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay. Okay. Up, I have 7 o'clock, so we will begin. All right.
Okay.
We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I am not muted. Okay, I see.
I'm gonna
that.
mute everyone now. 1 second.
Okay.
It looks like you're still muted, Christine, so you'll have to unmute yourself.
There. Okay. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Welcome to the November 22nd meeting of the Board of Trustees, which I'm calling to order. We've had the Pledge of Allegiance. May I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes from the November 8th, 2021 meeting, please?
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second?
Second. Liz.
Second by trustee Cormos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. No nays? All right. I only have a few mayor announcements. Today, I want to first of all, I wanted to talk about our infrastructure workshop, which we had a very successful infrastructure. It was our first infrastructure workshop, which was on Wednesday, the 17th. We were defining infrastructure for purposes of this particular workshop as water, sewer, and stormwater. This is the first of a series of workshops, of infrastructure workshops, we hope. This is, so we weren't dealing with facilities, we were just dealing with water, sewer, and stormwater. We had a panel, including on the Board of Trustees, Jeff Gories and Eric Johnson from our engineering firm, Chazen. What we did was we went through, we were using as a means of organizing ourselves, a list of capital projects from the Department of Public Works, which had been updated and worked on by Jeff Gories, who was also, I'm sorry, I didn't mention him, he was also part of the panel, and trustee Cormos and trustee Raymond, and also Eric Johnson. There is a recording of this workshop and a list of the projects which we have updated, and we've put expectation, we've prioritized them, listed when we hope that they will be, we will be working on them, and all of that is in it. It's in a grid and it is on our website. Okay. I wanted to talk about something else that we will be instituting in January, and that is we will be having at various meetings, we will be having reports from department heads about what they have been, their particular projects they have been working on in the past year, and also some statistics and also some of their needs. We're going to be doing this in advance of our workshops, our budget workshops. This is an opportunity for the public to learn about each department, what each department has been doing, the various things that they have been involved in the past year, and also for us and the public to hear, firsthand what their needs are going to be. So far, I'm scheduling, we are going to have 2 department reports per meeting. Any report will be 10 minutes in length. I will be working with the department heads on the format of their, their presentation. They will be providing hopefully somewhat of a written summary to the board. So far we have on January 10th, we're going to have the library and the police department. On January 24th, we're going to have the building department and DPW. And on February 28th, we are going to have the village clerk's office and the village administrator. We didn't have any takers for the meeting on February 14th. I get that. I guess that's not anybody's idea of a happy Valentine's Day. But in any event, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it will allow the public and to understand more of what we are doing and what our departments are doing, and also allow our departments to communicate their their work and their needs to the public. Okay, the other thing I have is that we are going to be having the Ballston Spa Holiday Parade. It is going to be on December 3rd, Friday, December 3rd. The parade is going to begin at South Street at 6:30 p.m. That's where it's going to start. This is the work of the largely, a lot of this has been organized by the Ballston Spa Business and Professional Association, and we want to thank them. There has been a committee hard at work from them working with the village, and that has been Michelle Burlingame and Dana Mason. Also, Jeff Gories has been a part of that group to try and get this up and running, and also Jen Moskowitz and Chief Bush, and of course Kevin Crow. So I want to thank those people for working on this. We also, the other things we have to thank, we want to thank the town of Greenbush, which provided us with what is known as a low boy, which is a truck to bring the big tree into the village, into Wiswall Park. We also we also got a top tech crane, which I believe they provided. We want to thank Mr. Chuck Harris, who donated the tree. And we also wanted to thank the Ballston Spa DPW and the Ballston Spa Police Department, who are working very hard to make this event the wonderful event that we know. A couple of things where there will be, people have to be aware that we're going to be asking you at that night to go around the parade. So just people regularly coming through the village. So there are going to be some barriers at intersections along Milton Avenue, running from South Street down to Front Street, where Wiswall Park is and where the tree will be. We will be having, we want you to please be patient. The DPW is working on all this week. They're working on getting the tree up, getting the tree prepared, taking down the banners that are on the lampposts and putting up Christmas decorations. So they will be working, you'll see them around working all of this week, getting these decorations ready for Friday night, December 3rd. And also there will be, because they're all involved in this project, we will be suspending where we have to, the leaf pickup for this week. Okay, we're asking you to please be patient. We also want to let you know that given what has occurred in the Midwest with a holiday parade, which I'm sure many of you saw it in the news, we are anticipating and will be having an increased police presence for the night of the parade. We feel that that is necessary, but we ask people to please be patient with what's going on this week as we set up, and also the night of the parade, to please be patient and polite and courteous to our neighbors, and we will all have a wonderful time. This parade we've been doing this for years and years, and it's really a very good night for families and people living in the village, and everybody seems to enjoy it. I myself have enjoyed it many, many times. So we're looking forward to that evening. So with that, those are the last of my mayor announcements. Let me just check my sheet. Yes, and again, thank you very much to the Ballston Spa Business and Professional Association for all their work in this regard. Okay, and all the other people who have been, nothing like these things don't happen. Elves don't, we all know this, elves don't create this kind of event. It's the work of a lot of people who put a lot of time and a lot of attention into it. Okay, we're going to have can we have the treasurer's report, please, Julia?
Okay. So first I'll just go over the October reports that were sent to the board today. The first bit of information is that the county sales tax is up almost 22% from last month. So we're comparing October to September. And compared to October of last year, it is up 2.25%. So we're kind of going in the right direction. Year-to-date interest and earnings, which is the interest on money that we have in the banks and investments, that is year-to-date is $610. This is actually down almost 90% from last year. As mentioned from previous reports, we do have our money in New York class and a high interest earning savings account. Hopefully we'll get that up to something comparable, but definitely not like last year. Overall expenses for the year should be about 42%, which is just 5 months of the 12-month year, or 12 months of the year. The general fund is 37% expended. Sewer fund is at 52%, and the library is at 38%. Sewer fund is above the expended average, and that's due to repairs for a fuel tank for the back truck, which was discussed a few meetings back, and for infrastructure repairs for paving the road before paving the roads. Another thing I want to touch upon is that meter cards will be mailed out at the end of this month. They will be arriving at your properties around December 1st. Please make sure you fill them out and return them back within 30 days to avoid a $50 fee for not reading your meter. We almost have completely transferred all of our accounts from BSMB to Adirondack Trust. Later in the meeting, we'll have a corporate resolution to declare additional authorized users. We have been working for a long period of time to find a new vehicle for the police department. They have decided to move forward with purchasing a Tahoe under a municipal lease. The village had budgeted for this purchase of the patrol vehicle, so tonight the board will be making a motion on the municipal lease agreement later. And lastly, to update you all on the fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021 audit, it is still ongoing. This CPA firm that we have hired and contracted is reviewing all the reports. As soon as they're done with that, they will be scheduling an in-person audit to finish up requesting all backup. And I'll get a time schedule for that and then distribute the materials as needed. And that is all.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, do we have anything under old business? Okay, and then new business, under new business, we have each year we review our health plan as we go from one year into the next. And we have a presentation by Paul Von Schank, who is the Vice President for Amshore, on the village's 2020 health insurance rate renewal. So he's going to be talking to you about that. Okay, Paul, take it away. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Christine. And thank you to the trustees for having me tonight. I promised Christine I'd keep it brief and high level, so I plan to deliver on that. So getting right into it, as Christine mentioned, my name is Paul Von Schank. I am with the Adirondack Trust Company, and more specifically Amshore, which is our wholly owned insurance subsidiary. And we are the health insurance broker for the village and have enjoyed that partnership for the last few years now. And as part of that deliverable, we are the broker for both the health insurance plan for the active employees of the village, as well as the retirees of the village. And that really boils down to two separate health plans or medical plans. The first of which has the bulk of your members, which is the plan for the active employees. You have about 30 contracts there, and that's with Empire. And the good news is that Empire has delivered a competitive renewal that is substantially similar to the plan that your active employees are enjoying today. And so when that plan comes up for renewal on January 1st, we are making the recommendation to stay with Empire for 2022. And I met with the mayor and Terry and Julia earlier this month to review the terms and conditions of that renewal plan with Empire and to go over some of the changes that were being implemented. the most notable of which is the price. So the overall increase for that plan is just over 6% in terms of the rate change. Now, not all of that premium is borne by the village. Some of that is shared with the employee, depending on the position and date of hire, et cetera. But nonetheless, the overall rate increase on that in-force plan with Empire is just over 6%, which is frankly right in line with what we define as trend. And trend is consistent. It consists of both medical prices, healthcare prices, as well as drug prices, prescription drugs in particular. And so that's sort of a baseline trend increase that doesn't factor in adverse performance of the group or profitability of the carrier. That's purely just what we call a trend increase. So even though 6% is a significant increase, it's certainly on the very low end of what we're seeing for health insurance increases, and also quite competitive with what else is available in the small group marketplace. And to that end, and I'll get into this in a minute, we did look at quite a few alternatives to the Empire plan just to make sure that that still was the best combination of coverage and price. And we boiled it down really to one alternative plan, which I'll talk about in a minute as to why we decided not to go that route. But just at a high level, to summarize the Empire plan, it is a gold level plan. And if you think about the health insurance marketplace from an Olympic medal podium standpoint, gold, silver, bronze, gold is the highest level on that podium. So it's a very coverage rich plan. And some of the other advantages of that plan, in addition to being the highest medal level, it's a co-pay style plan, meaning whether you go to see your primary care or a specialist, you're paying a modest sum out of pocket. Everything else is covered by the medical plan. Prescription drugs similarly are treated.
Paul, you're breaking up.
Oh, am I breaking up a little?
Yeah,
Sorry, my Wi-Fi is sometimes a little spotty in the house.
okay.
Better now?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I was just articulating that the plan is a copay style plan. So modest out-of-pocket expenditures, then the plan covers the rest. The other big element to your plan, it has a national network associated with it, meaning you can see all of the local providers, physicians, hospitals, cancer centers, orthopedic centers. But then if specialty care is desired outside of the area, particularly cancer care or pediatric specialties, the network is a national one, meaning you can go to those out-of-area providers and still be covered as in-network. And then finally, labs and chemotherapy are both covered in full. And chemo in particular, I know is an area of particular and heightened focus. So that has no deductible or copay associated with it. The only caveat with the labs is that it has to be a Quest lab. And I know we've run into this with a few of your members. Quest lab is covered in full. There's no deductible, no copay. Other labs are treated differently. So, and we'll bring that up in our open enrollment meetings again to drive that home and reinforce that. Now, I mentioned we did look at one alternative plan. We boiled it down to a Blue Shield Gold plan as an alternative to the Empire plan. That plan was only a 3.5 percentage point increase over what the village is paying today in monthly premiums. Now, some of the things that gave us pause, despite having some premium relief there, was that the copays did apply to chemo and labs, so they were not covered in full services like they are today. The out-of-network component of the plan required a referral. So if you wanted to go to Dana-Farber or Sloan Kettering, you had to have a referral in order to be able to do that, whereas the plan today, you do not. It's all treated as in-network. And the other big concern we had was from a customer service standpoint. Blue Shield was just recently acquired by Highmark, which is a much larger plan that's based out of the area. And so it's not clear how exactly that's going to impact the customer service side of the equation. And really what that just tightens is the fact that you have a dedicated account manager at Empire today, Connie Kung, who is very familiar with the village and runs open enrollment and is available to answer questions. And so she's really a tremendous resource to the village. And another reason why we felt very good about staying with the Empire plan. The only other item I wanted to touch on today, I mentioned at the beginning, was the plan for the retirees. So the Empire plan covers the active employees. There's also a Medicare Advantage plan, or a MAP plan, as it's shortened to refer to. And that covers the retirees of the village that are over the age of 65. And the good news there is that plan continues to come down in rate. We had about a 1% decrease in the rate on that plan. And I ran the numbers going back to 2019 when we took over that plan, and it's down 6% from 2019. So that's been one of the bright spots in the health insurance marketplace, has been the Medicare Advantage plans. And that continues to be on a downward trend from a cost standpoint. So overall, we're very comfortable recommending the in-force Empire and MVP plans for the actives and retirees respectively. And I mentioned open enrollment. We have 2 sessions scheduled for next Tuesday at the village with the employees of the village, as well as any retirees that want to join. A morning session and afternoon session to answer questions and go through the plans and to provide. Happy to answer.
Paul, in the last little bit, you were froze up. If you could repeat like the last minute that you spoke.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I had pivoted over to the Medicare Advantage plan, that VP plan. Was that more or less where it cut out?
No, we heard that.
We heard that. You're talking about, I think you're talking about open enrollment. There will be an open enrollment meeting for employees and retirees. It will be on November 30th. There are 2 times, 10 a.m. to noon, 1 to 3. It's being held at the in the community room of the library. There's a communication going out to department heads and to retirees. Anybody who's interested in coming can come and meet with the plan representatives and get information there. I think that was it.
Precisely. You said it better than I did.
Okay. All right.
That was everything I wanted to cover. Go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Just, do we have a sense of how much the 6% is going to cost the village? How much of an increase in dollars that is?
The total dollar amount will go up monthly from, and this is total premium, so not reflecting the employee percentage or share, from about $40,443 a month to $42,917 a month. So about $2,200, call it, additional a month, $2,200. I'm sorry, about $2,500 additional a month.
And one thing we should point out is that and I sent this in the material that I sent to the board today about this health insurance rate renewal, that originally what they were asking for was 12%, which when Julia and I first saw that, that gave us pause. And it came in at 6.12, and what we have budgeted for through the rest of our year was the rest of our fiscal year was 10%. So we are prepared for this increase.
Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Any other questions?
It's a good plan. I wish I had the plan that nice.
Me too.
And we should say that, we are required, and we have met with our employee unions. We are required under our collective bargaining agreements. And I sent this to you in the material I sent out earlier, we have a comparability clause where we have to offer comparable coverage. We can change our plans, but they have to be comparable from year to year. And we have met with both the PBA and with the Teamsters, and they have both agreed that this staying with Empire Gold Access EPO is good. It's a good choice. Okay, so they're consenting. So that's a good thing. Okay. Anything else? Okay, Paul, thank you very much. I'm sure we will be in touch. We'll be spending a lot of time together in the next, you and Dan Klein, who works for Hampshire, in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank
And
you everyone for your
I
time.
also want to thank both Julia Smith and Clerk O'Connor for their work on this. And also Jen Moskowitz is going to be involved in our open enrollment. So this is sort of a team effort of looking at this material and then organizing an open enrollment, which is quite an undertaking. Okay, thank you very much, Paul.
Thanks, Christine.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, take a happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
You too. Enjoy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, let's move along, please, to other new business. Motion made by, may I have a motion to that the attached budget transfers be approved?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by trustee Baskin. Can I have a second, please?
Second,
Okay, second by trustee Cormos. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, no nays. Okay. This is a motion I'm going to read. This is the, what do we call this? The corporate resolution. I'm going to read this resolution. This is a housekeeping. It sounds too. I don't want to make it sound like it's not important by calling it housekeeping or whatever, but this is a logistical housekeeping thing that we have to do to move our accounts to Amshore. Okay. So this is a motion to approve a corporate resolution allowing the following individuals to be authorized agents with respect to all transactions of the village in and through Adirondack Trust Company. Christine M. Fitzpatrick, all accounts. David Bush, select accounts, Police Department. James Carter, select accounts, Library. Meredith Tower, select accounts, Library. May I have a motion, please, to allow that corporate resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by trustee Cormos. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Raymond. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, this is a motion to approve a master equipment lease purchase agreement, otherwise known as a municipal lease, in the amount of $10,000 per year over 5 years for the lease of a 2021 or 2022 Chevy Tahoe, which will be a patrol car for the Ballston Spa Police Department. May I have a motion for this, please?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by trustee Raymond. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Baskin. Any discussion?
Can I ask, is this lease, after the lease is up, they turn the car back or they can purchase it, or what's the end?
So at the end of this, it's just like a finance, but without the debt actually going to our debt limit calculation, just like the fire departments. At the end of the 5 years, we will own it. There's no balloon payment or anything like that.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 No one opposed. Okay, motion carries. Sorry, I have some pencils and pens coming apart while we're having this meeting. Okay. All right, this is a motion we're having additional people. We're very happy to have them as part of the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. So may I have a motion that John Frederick, John Hearn, and John Tazy be appointed to the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee?
I'll make the motion.
Ben is motion by trustee Baskin. May I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by trustee Cormos. Is there any discussion? Okay, the motion, then may I have a, all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
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 No one is opposed. The motion carries. Okay. All right, this is a motion that the Village of Ballston Spa sponsor the Committee on the Arts to begin the application process for a community arts grant from Saratoga Arts for up to $5,000 for the creation of an interactive community mural. Mural location to be determined and budget and scope of work to be provided to the board for approval prior to the filing of said application. No funding from the village is anticipated for this project. May I have a motion, please, that the Village of Ballston Spa sponsor the community on the Committee on the Arts in this endeavor?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Baskin. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Beat you to it.
Do it, Sean. Second by trustee Cormos. Any discussion? Okay, I will say that at our next meeting, someone from the Committee on the Arts will be making a presentation on this whole application process. And obviously, we're going to get we'll see the application in advance before you're asked to approve it. Okay, so all in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, no opposition, the motion carries. Okay, motion made. This is a motion to approve Bridget Rockwell, excuse me, to be appointed to the Committee on the Arts. Would somebody make that motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
All right, a motion by trustee Baskin. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Raymond. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No one is opposed. Okay, so we will, the motion carries. Okay. The consent agenda for 2022 expenditures, we have none. May we have now trustee liaison reports. Any trustee want to provide a report?
I can, Liz, you want us to get start?
Go ahead.
I can say a few words from the BSPA, Ballston Spa Business Professional Association. Elementola gave me an update. You mentioned the parade. I'll just add that businesses are encouraged to stay open before, during, and after the parade for the many visitors expected that night. And also BSBPA will be partnering with Community Emergency Corps, U.S. Marines, and Saratoga County Sheriff Department on the Toys for Tots campaign, with donated toys accepted during and after the parade. I'll share that the parade is sponsored by Bubbles, Mangino, Chevrolet, BDB Paving, General Contracting, Curtis Lumber, BSNB, Generations Auto Repair, McKenzie Frederick, State Farm, Community Emergency Corps, Tech Valley Talent, Sunmark Credit Union, and Burlingame Orthodontics. So thank you very much to all those sponsors. Once again, BSBPA is doing a free social media blast for business members for Small Business Saturday, which is on November 27th. So this Saturday, it's a national event sponsored by American Express. There will be sales and promotions posted on the BSBPA social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on the website. And there's about 20 businesses taking part. And I'd just like to add that it's good to remember when people buy locally, the money stays in the community, and it's a great way to support your local community and find unique items that you might not find anywhere else. So we hope everyone will buy local this holiday season. The other thing I'd like to announce is the BSBPA is again sponsoring an annual holiday window display contest, and downtown businesses are encouraged to deck out their windows and storefronts for the season. They'll be judged November 30th. And then one more thing with BSPA, there'll be a ribbon cutting for the 8-star martial arts Red Dragon Karate on Saturday, December 4th at 10 a.m., where my son took karate lessons, celebrating anniversary milestones for the combined businesses. And Mayor Fitzpatrick and Town of Milton Supervisor Benny Zlotnick will both be on hand. Also, so that's all from BSPA as usual. They're doing a lot for and with the village. I want to just remind people that there's something called the Wellness Express that is available to seniors age 60 and over, and it's transportation and medical appointments, and it's free. There's voluntary contributions are accepted but not required. It's run by Captain. The phone number is 518-399-4624. It's on our website, and you can look it up on their website too. But people should know we sponsor that program, and it is available to village seniors. So please take advantage. The last thing I'd like to share is BARC is looking for instructors for 2 of its arts programs, Intro to Dance and Nature Exploration Hiking Club. And also it's looking for coaches for its basketball season, which this is the last week to register for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trustee Baskin. All right.
I just wanted to add real quickly, the DPW has made rounds throughout the village, picking up leaves, debris, clippings. I would urge everyone, if you've got more clippings or leaves to put out, to put them out this week and this weekend, because we probably only have a little bit more time before we get our first snowfall. And at that point, if there's anything on the streets, it's gonna be there till spring. So I just urge you, if this holiday weekend, if you need to put anything out, please do so. I'd also like to mention that if anyone is aware of anyone who might be looking for some temporary or part-time work, and has some snow plowing experience or experience driving, larger vehicles, and preferably with a CDL, please contact the village. We're always looking for temporary help. It's not to say that we aren't in a position where we have coverage, but it's always good to have a few extra people in case somebody gets ill or has a personal emergency. So I just want to put that out there.
I've got a few items. One, on November 18th last week, there was a public meeting on Zoom that was very well attended to review the draft plan for the pedestrian and bicycle master plan. That plan can be found on our website. If you click on the meeting on the calendar, it'll pop up with where you can find the plan. Also, if you just put in VHB and Ballston Spa on Google, it'll take you right to the project website, and you can review the plan there. The Park and Tree Board will be meeting next week on November 29th at 7 p.m. That's on Zoom, and it'll be posted to the calendar to determine the components of the second half of the urban forestry grant, which is the management plan, and they will make a recommendation to the board such that the contract for the second half can be approved by the board. The fire department will be submitting an application to FEMA, which is due next month, just after our next meeting. They are applying for $168,000 for 24 SCBAs. self-contained breathing apparatus. And the grant is in a draft form and is being reviewed, has been distributed to the board, and will be on the next agenda for approval to submit that grant. Last thing, the Comprehensive Plan Committee met, as you heard, and they are revising the RFP for a new consultant. And they are, as you heard earlier, searching for additional new members, to add to the steering committee. And that's all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And sorry, Liz,
Mhm.
the that master pedestrian bike plan, they're still open to input, correct?
Yes, I believe, at least until sometime after Thanksgiving. So any input, please get on the project website. It's VHB. I'll have the link put on the website, but if you just put in VHB and Ballston Spa in Google, it comes right up. And it's the project website.
Okay. All right, thank you very much. Yes, several of us attended that, the pedestrian and bicycle master plan meeting. They did an excellent job on that report. Okay, and thank you all for your contributions and for your trustee liaison reports and for keeping us all up to date. Okay, do we have anything under other business? Okay, then I am going to open the floor for public comment. And please, Sean, you disappeared on us. There you are. Okay. Julia will be, as my co-host, will be allowing the public comment. So please raise your hand so she can allow you to speak. And just a reminder, the limit is 3 minutes. And thank you in advance for your comments.
I have no hands up right now. Oh, there is one.
Okay, yep.
I will allow Ray Otten to talk. As soon as you state your name and address, I'll start the 3-minute timer.
Hi, Ray Otten, 16 Middlebrook Avenue, Ballston Spa. First of all, I want to thank Ben. Ben, I appreciate the shout out for Community Emergency Corps and the especially the Toys for Tots segment of the parade. I encourage everybody to bring toys and we will take them as we go through. And hopefully we're going to have a contingent from the Marine Corps also there. Secondly, I want to thank Sean for his comments last week, or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, concerning the numbers that were talking about the safety curfew that's going to be monitored now, I believe, for a year, you said, if I'm not mistaken. You were going to talk to the police department about that. And what you had said was the numbers, and it was over 200 signatures. The numbers represent about a 2% of the village adult population, and it's not yet large enough data sample to provide a reliable indication of the overall public sentiment of residents regarding this matter. I think that in trying to be consistent, that you were right. You need more input from folks, but it would be on both sides of the issue. Who wants it, who doesn't, who wants to continue it, who doesn't want to continue it. So I think it would have to be balanced for both of those. And in trying to be consistent again, there was an article in the Schenectady Gazette or the Daily Gazette about a week or so ago concerning the village aims to improve conditions for cyclists and pedestrians. And in that report, it says nearly 160 comments were received by by the consultant through September. So that would I'm assuming fall into that same category, that there really isn't enough of a data sample to proceed with this bicycle plan. Is that correct? Being it's a lesser number actually than what was concerned with the safety curfew. A couple other points. In that whole survey, there seems to be, there was a specific Hyde Boulevard segment of that plan. One of the parts in there was, and I heard it stated again at this last meeting, they're talking about the speed of the vehicles going through Hyde Boulevard. And in the report itself, it says there is a perception by many residents that most vehicles are speeding.
3-minute mark.
That was 3 minutes?
That was 3 minutes, yes.
Okay. I'll continue it in the next meeting then. I just want everybody to read that report and read it thoroughly, because there's a lot of expenses in there. There's a lot of money being involved, you know, $535,000 to widen Hyde Boulevard, things like that. So I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Otten. Okay. Anybody else?
I do not have anyone else on the list.
Okay,
Here comes a few more.
okay. I think
Okay.
it's a little slow to get started, so
It
we
must
have,
be.
yeah.
I'll allow Bob Bush to talk. Again, same thing with Ray. This minute you say your name and address, I'll start it, and I'll put up my hand once it approaches that 30 seconds left.
Bob, you're on. Bob? Bob, we see your name and your hand, but we do not hear you. It says Bob Bush Jr. We don't hear you.
How about now?
Now we hear you. Thank you, Bob. Okay,
Bob Bush Jr., 71 Church Ave. I want to say thank you guys. Just we finally got the infrastructure thing off the ground. Took a little bit, but we finally did. I appreciate it. A couple things I want to ask is, have we any movement on hiring an attorney for the village? That's another question. If you guys want to answer as I'm asking, it's up to you. But I want to ask how I was part of the bicycle path meeting, and one of the questions I asked, I wanted some clarification because I just don't understand it. How can there be budget restraints for a study that was supposed to include the whole village? How can it be an accurate study if it excludes neighborhoods such as Colonial Hills? I feel that if it's a study, it's not an accurate study at all if it doesn't include the whole village, every neighborhood. One thing I wanted to bring up and ask is, why is this master plan that we have further along ahead than an infrastructure that we desperately need? And I'll do it. Thanks.
thank you, Mr. Bush.
Okay, I guess I'll let a few more seconds for a hand to go up, but otherwise I have no other hands. Okay, and now I have, sorry if I mispronounce it, Jim Bussin. I'll allow you to talk.
Yes, I was just
You
calling.
gotta put your name in.
Name's Jim Bussin, 37 McLean Street, Ballston Spa. I was just calling to see about the leaf problem or on the streets. Is there a drop dead date for when you can put leaves out so that we can ensure that leaves get picked up before a snowfall?
Okay, is that your comment? That's it, Jim, or did you have another question?
Well, that's my only question, because it
Okay.
seems like other years we've had them plowed, the leaves have been out there and they plow the streets, and then there's leaves with the snow, and you can't get rid of it with the snow blowers.
Right.
You have to hand do it, and it's really heavy.
And you know, Christine.
Okay,
That's all.
we're aware that's what we're trying to avoid. So is there a drop dead date? No, there is not at this point. But we're suggesting that you get your leaves out. And you should also know that there is on the website, there is a list that is updated daily as they make the circuit of leaf pickup. You might want to see, for example, I know they did Chapman Street, and I had a lot of my leaves out, and then, they came by and I unfortunately put some out after the date, but they will be doing another circuit as time allows. But I do not know, unless Sean, the exact date where they will stop. They do want to avoid not doing it with the snow. So
I would add that we don't have a specific date. And that would actually be something, if we were going to set specific deadlines, that would be basically the mayor, that's at the mayor's behest. If you decide that you want to set a specific deadline, we've been trying to avoid that just because people will miss the deadline. But that's basically why I said earlier is if you can get your leaves out this weekend, that it would be probably next week will be the last week where they can focus on picking up clippings and debris, because they have to change their focus to getting snow and ice removal equipment, getting prepped for the upcoming season. So obviously we try to be flexible. We understand everybody's busy, but typically we try to make sure everything's cleaned up at least by the end of November. And obviously we have early snows, but in November, and if that happens, then yes, quite often we've had clippings in the snowbanks. And knock on wood, so far so good. Hopefully we can wrap it up before we get any significant snowfall.
thank you. Thank you, Jim. Okay, anybody else?
Yep, I will allow Frank Rossi to talk.
Frank Rossi Jr., 63 Saratoga Avenue, Apartment B in Ballston Spa. First off, I find it interesting that, and nothing against the last questioner, because it was a very relevant question, but Mr. Bush and Mr. Otten both spoke, and I don't remember any responses to their points and questions and thoughts. And there is an overall consistency issue that is bothering a lot of residents right now. Last week, as I think the board does know by now, I was on my way back from Massachusetts to New York and had gotten some calls and notes that people could not join the infrastructure meeting because apparently the code meeting code changed at some point. It was not advertised, and there was an access issue in that. And the mayor's response was like, well, too bad, so sad, essentially, was the response once it was brought to her attention. On Friday, there was a meeting where I don't think you even had a quorum to go into executive session, and you went into executive session. Now, you came out with 3 people, but it's a little bit disconcerting for a lot of people that, Robert's rules are not that tough to grasp, and yet they're not being followed. And open meeting law, open meetings laws, which the mayor talked about in the last meeting, aren't exactly being embraced either, because it's equal access to meetings, and that's not being conducted here right now. And this is, you know, as Bob Bush questioned, where's the village attorney at this point? Because maybe they could help ensure that we are following protocol procedure, which are not mere formalities. These are in place for a reason. So these need to be handled. I think it's even more bothersome to me when a current trustee is libeling me, suggesting that I had advanced notice of Mayor Wilbright's resignation, which I did not. And it's more concerned about that than concerned about the things that are going on with respect to their own meetings that they are conducting along the way. Let's get our focus and our priorities right here, and remember that we are public servants for the residents of the village of Ballston Spa. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. Anybody else?
Okay, I have someone with the name of Chris that I'll allow to talk.
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Chris Dubuque. I reside at 6 Kaleen Drive in the village. And I just had a couple questions. First, I would direct my first question to Trustee Raymond. You had mentioned earlier you were looking for part-time people to help with possibly assisting with clearing and snow removal. My question would be, have you reached out to the Saratoga County Employment and Training Center, Jennifer McCloskey specifically? I know we have WIOA funding to get people their CDL, and it would save the village money. That would be something, those are county funds just waiting there that are just sitting there. Nobody's taking up those funds. And again, we would be more than happy to help from that center. I know plenty of people who are out of work or looking for part-time work, such as snow removal. That'd be great. Unfortunately, we can't help them unless we get a hand up from the village reaching out for that assistance. But again, look up Jennifer McCloskey, Saratoga County Employment and Training. The other thing, I missed some of the infrastructure meeting with the bike path and the infrastructure, as well as some of the tree removal I'm hearing. My biggest question with regards to that is, I mean, there are some infrastructure improvements that are needed around the village. One that I noticed, there's a lot of high traffic that goes between that intersection of Milton Ave, East High, and West High. If you're traveling down East High and heading towards West High, the light there is lacking any type of left-hand turn signal, any left-hand arrow. That could be drastically, we need that. There's a huge cluster there with traffic in the morning, especially with the buses, and I see it only getting worse come wintertime. Again, I think that's needed, especially with, like I said, the road conditions looking to become a hindrance in the wintertime. So I don't know if that's been discussed. There's also been a few other things with some infrastructure that's sitting around, such as rickets. Sort of curious as to what's going to happen with the removal of some of those buildings and properties that are more than just an eyesore. It's nice to see the fence around there to keep certain people out of exploring there who might be curious to get into that building. I know a couple of teenagers were looking at doing so. So again, it's helpful, the fence there, but I think just the removal of the building altogether would be a safety concern to bring up. So again, just looking at what's on the list of priorities here with the funding that we have currently available. And again, any answers to that would be greatly appreciated, but absolutely reach out to Jennifer McCloskey. Again, we have a lot of people that could definitely assist the village. And again, if CDL is a concern, the WIOA funding is there for us to get the CDL training to people who are interested. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Anybody else?
I have no new hands.
Okay, so, okay, no new hands. Okay, so just a couple of things, and to Mr. Bush and Mr. Rossi, was not ignoring your questions. I was waiting until the end of, so I could answer to the extent I will in the Board of Trustees response section. And what I did do was I took Mr. Bussin out of order and responded to him. So I guess for that, I apologize. First of all, in terms of the attorney, The attorney, we are in the process of finding an attorney. It is a, it's an involved process. It has to be carefully done. We are working on it and we should have some information for you soon. In terms of the infrastructure meeting, I can say to you that what happened is that the infrastructure meeting, we had it posted in 2 places, and the place that was on Facebook, the number that was on Facebook was incorrect, was placed there incorrectly, and so that's what happened. It was human error, and we apologize for that. In terms of, I think maybe Trustee Cormos can talk about the whole, what Mr. Bush's concern about the Colonial Hills not being in this, in the study. It was, and Liz will maybe come after me, and that was by design. That was from the beginning. We understand that Mr. Bush is not happy about that, but that was the design, and that is so. That's why the pedestrian and bicycle master plan was really focused on the central business district and connecting the central business district to routes to schools and also to the Zim Smith Trail. That was by design. Okay, in terms of Chris, what I can tell you is that Ricketts, that is the reason we put the fence around that. That was not included in our infrastructure workshop, the workshop that we did, and we will be focusing on facilities. We have a lot of facilities that need work. We will be focusing that at another infrastructure meeting. In terms of Ricketts, one of the reasons we put the fence around it was because of the fact that there was some interest in getting inside. That building is slated to be demolished, and we had heard something like January or February, and I will try and nail down a date, but it's definitely the next. They have completed their study of the ground underneath it, and they will be demolishing. The next step is that it's going to be demolished. That's in the hands of the DEC and it's on their schedule of getting somebody to actually do the work, but that building will be coming down, and that will within hopefully the next several months. We thank people for their patience. It has been a long process with that building, and we realize that it's an eyesore, and believe me, nobody wants it gone more than we do. Okay, anybody else want to add anything to the Board of Trustees response?
Yeah, I'd like to address, first of all, on the Milton East High, West High left turn. I agree that's a difficult intersection. Unfortunately, it is not under our control. It is the state Department of Transportation that can make changes to that intersection. I think Sean would concur on that. We can, request that they look at that intersection again and potentially, make some changes, but it is not under our control. It is under the state's control. On the pedestrian and bicycle master plan, that was a planning grant which was applied for in 2019. It's done by the Capital District Transportation Committee. They control the design of the study and the budget. If you look on their website and see other linkage studies that have been done, many of them only cover 1 or 2 streets. We actually got quite a bit for the grant amount and having a larger area. We even originally we were ended at East-West High. We convinced them that we needed to go south and cover the southern part of the village as well. It's a budget issue. We did want to concentrate where most of the activity is. Many of the recommendations can be applied all over the village. And if you have comments on certain intersections or other comments on the draft plan, please put them in. As far as that moving along, there was a planning grant. It only required us to put in 15,000 and we got $90,000 worth of work. We took advantage when there was an opportunity. Unfortunately, planning grants for water infrastructure to address John Street are not available. And at the time, 2019, we did not have the budget to spend on a planning study. Also, at that time, both Trustee Raymond and myself put together a list of projects very similar to what you saw last Thursday, and hoped to get some planning money, but it just was not possible in the budget. So now we have the funds to be able to move forward on those issues.
To dovetail into what Trustee Cormos was saying, part of the issue here is we had developed the capital project list in 2019. One of the things that needed to be done sooner rather than later was the water tower feasibility study. And that, for one reason or another, was just never commissioned to be started with the engineer. I wasn't really involved with that. That was more under the former mayor's purview. So first things first, we need to move forward with that feasibility study before we can determine what is the best bang for our buck in regards to either replacement, refurbishment, or relocation of our water tower. And also to determine we currently have a study ongoing for water well capacity, which is also dovetails into that study, because based on our capacity, do we want to enhance our capacity further for adding additional service to other neighborhoods? So that was one part of it. And I'd also like to address Mr. Otten's comment. The curfew law, when I spoke, was roughly 2%. If you're saying there's 200 signatures, obviously that at least doubles that. Obviously, to really get a good representative sample, we need 10%. And that's why I thought, we kind of made it clear, and we had a resolution of the fact that we aren't changing the curfew, we're just collecting data. And then after a year, we'll review that data and see if there's any patterns that may suggest a modification to that curfew. And that's kind of where we left that. I also want to add, in regards to the infrastructure bill and the infrastructure plan, the area in Colonial Hills versus the area in the downtown and central business district, the right of way that the village has is vastly different. And the area in the downtown area has more opportunities for developing the right of way along the highway, the roadways, whereas the way Colonial Hills was designed to actually try to develop some sort of sidewalk infrastructure would mean narrowing the lanes, removing on-street parking. And I think the thought was that would probably be infeasible. And that may be one of the decision-making parts why it wasn't included in the limits of the study. And I'd like to add too, that it is a bike and ped plan. No funds have been secured to implement any of those improvements. So whatever the dollar amount is, that's for planning purposes, and there hasn't been, moving forward, we haven't secured any funds or assigned any funds from the village to start constructing or even put out an RFP for any kind of development of those improvements. So obviously, as Trustee Cormo said, that we would be looking at grants where we would get much of the funding from other sources. So, and that's about it that I have to say.
Thank you, Trustee Raymond.
I
Anybody
just
else?
like,
Okay.
sorry,
Go ahead.
just a little more on the curfew, my perspective. Based on village feedback so far, clearly the vast majority have indicated that they do not support changing the curfew, and we do have to listen to that. That's a prime consideration. But I do think collecting data on this and other police activities in general is worthwhile. And furthermore, if there was any indication that this law was being abused in some way, then that would be a prime consideration. But there's absolutely no indication that that's been happening to date. So we need to just have all those different issues as we look at this. And until there's any data indicating otherwise, I'm going to listen to what the people have been telling us and leave it as it is.
I
Okay.
agree.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And with that, I am going to ask for a motion that the board adjourn into executive session to discuss employment matters and a possible legal matter. What's going to happen is we're going to actually leave this meeting. We're going to go into another meeting. It's going to take some time. When we come back, we will come back. We have to have a quorum to come back. So when we come back, we will then approve the vouchers and adjourn the meeting. But for all intents and purposes, the meeting is over now, but you are absolutely welcome to come back after we have our executive session, which I estimate will be at a minimum of an hour. Okay, and with that, I'm going to end this portion of the meeting. I want to thank the clerk and Ms. O'Connor, and also our treasurer, Julia Smith, for their help this evening. Okay, and with that, we're going to adjourn to, may I have the motion to adjourn to executive session, please? Who would make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, and may I have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Sean Raymond, and it is it is 8:14, Madam Clerk. Okay, and I'll get the time when we come back in and when we adjourn. Okay, thank you very much to the public, to everybody who attended, and for your comments. And I hope everybody has a very happy Thanksgiving. Okay, and we'll see you at the parade. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you
Happy
later.
Thanksgiving.
Okay, thank you.